on a barrier beach that separates Cotuit Bay from Nantucket Sound and the Atlantic Ocean beyond it. These beaches are really important for protecting the shellfish industries and the recreation that happens behind the barrier beaches. They're also very important as a breeding area for birds, especially terns. Piping plovers are an endangered species that we're seeing slowly recover because areas where they breed are being protected, and like the fencing here is keeping people away from interfering with the breeding. Yet Atlantic Ocean seawater flows through here, coming around Nantucket, coming around Martha's Vineyard, and on the shore here I have found sargassum weed. Sargassum is a plant that never holds on to the bottom. It lives in the Sargasso Sea, where it's very, very deep in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And somehow, water carrying this plant broke away from the Sargasso Sea as an eddy of water turning slowly managed to get across the Gulf Stream. This is a map of Massachusetts coastal waters, and it shows Hyannis, and we're right here in Cotuit. And then Cotuit is on the south side of Cape Cod. This is all Nantucket Sound. It's enclosed by Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, Falmouth, Cape Cod, and Monomoy Point. What's interesting is that the state controls 3 miles out of, 3 miles off the shore. And so in the middle of Nantucket Sound is federal water. It's like a closed lake of federal water in the midst of Nantucket Sound. And the ecological problem is that the state has made the state waters a sanctuary for where you cannot disturb the ecosystem in terms of developments and enterprises, and you're not allowed to discharge the waste from your vessels into state waters. Instead, they do it in the federal waters. And so one of the challenges that the Ocean River Institute is undertaking is how can we make the federal waters in the middle of Nantucket Sound be a no discharge area? And what will that take? There are many things we can do to save Nantucket Sound, and in saving the Sound, we'll save the embayments like Cotuit Bay that surround Nantucket Sound. Ryan and I set sail from Cotuit in a 16-foot boat affectionately known as a Herreshoff dough dish. The sailing craft was gaff-rigged mainsail and has a club-footed jib. We cleared the sands of Dead Neck and set to a beam reach southeast toward the lone Cape Wind weather tower standing thumb tall on the most distant corner of Horseshoe Shoal. Steering for the tower, we trimmed sails at regular intervals until we were close hauled with sails pulled in tight. The tower seemed to be climbing to windward. It was becoming more difficult for the Herreshoff to steer for it. We were forced to come about and tack the boat before the wind a few times to gain the tower. The sea was like a conveyor belt moving 2 or 3 knots to the west, while the tower stood firm on the shoal, just out of reach. Nearly fetching the tower, we turned the sailboat downwind for home. Just then the wind suddenly died away entirely.